Hi, everyone. It's Janet Ruffolo with Interview the Experts. And today with me, I have Josie Stewart, and she's with COLEi Marketing. No, I'm sorry, COLEi Online Influence. Josie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I just wanted to ask you a few questions in regards to your industry about what you're seeing, kind of what you're experiencing with so many people being behind the screen like we are, at home, trying to do everything, run their business, kind of just a little bit of what you are seeing and ways that tips and tricks that you can help.
Well, obviously, the virtual world is blown up, right? This is where we're living right now, is face-to-face via our computers. So social media right now and Facebook interaction, you name it, everything is very busy right at this time. People are trying to engage more. Again, we're in a political year as well, so there's all that going on. But I think what this has done with a lot of people is made them realize it's time to get back to basics. It's almost like it's flipping around the world on especially the younger folks, where they're used to being online and digital, but now that they don't have that face-to-face interaction, they're craving it more. So I'm hoping that in the end, we balance that out a little more when we get to the other side of this. And our younger folks who like to be in the digital environment and have their heads buried in it are learning to lift their heads up and smell the roses a little more, as well as, more technically challenged people are starting to embrace the technology more, which could be beneficial on both sides.
That's really good. So what are you finding? First of all, tell us a little bit about what you do. I know you're the expert in online social media, content, things that we've been talking about. But can you share with our audience a little bit about what you do?
So it's in the marketing world, it's called content marketing. And what I do is anything having to do with giving a brand a voice and tone. So I do, for my clients, I provide ghostwriting, which is individuals who want to blog and rank organically online through a search engine optimization. It's basically searching out those keywords and then writing around it, but providing value in a way that Google looks at it and sees that it's of value to people. So I will write articles and blogs for individuals and let them brand it under their own name. I also do website content, so I can fill an entire website for you based on your brand, your voice, your tone, and keyword optimization in social media management.
Okay. And then like what industries, have you worked with, do you work with typically?
My background is pharmaceuticals, so I come from the pharmaceutical environment, but I work with anyone from nonprofits. I have health and wellness. I have optometry, you name it. I think where I bring value and is that I don't have to niche down to one specific industry. I have a unique way of being able to ramp myself up quickly in any industry and become more of a subject matter expert. I pride myself on taking all that heavy lifting from my clients and doing it for them, so that really is pretty seamless for them. The content that I develop for them is something that they would look at and say, wow, this is exactly how I would produce it.
So how do you kind of figure all that out? Let's say I'm your client or we're talking potentially, like what kind of questions are you asking? What kind of information are you looking for from them?
Well, I would start out with, what does your brand look like? So when I talk about voice and tone, that's like, are you more technical in nature? Do you communicate more of a friendly? Is it more of a teacher type aspect? How is it that you like to communicate to your audience?
Okay.
And then are you more of a light and airy feel to you, or do you have more of a dark side to you? Do you like comic relief in your communications? I have a full questionnaire that I go through with my clients. Okay. It's based on who they're trying to target. If they need help with that, I help them out based on their industry. and what does that person look like? So at the end of the day, what you want is an avatar of your customer, right? So you can look at that avatar and say, this is the person I'm speaking to.
Okay,
And how does this person want to take in the information I'm giving them?
great. What are right now, with what we've been going through, like we explained, what are some of the frequently asked questions that you're getting?
In terms of social media, the major questions are, how often should I post? And flat out, it's every day, 5 days a week. You have to post at least once every day, especially if you're not putting any paid advertising behind what you're doing on social media. If your plan is to increase your following and increase your engagement, which is people actually talking to you on social media organically without paying for anything,
Right.
you've got to post at least once a week. Um, Another big question that I get is, how do I deal with negative feedback? I'll tell you one thing, it's don't delete it, because that is the surefire way to get yourself caught up in an online whirlwind that you don't want to get into. Basically, you go back to, and you can really extinguish any kind of negative feedback just by speaking from a place of, I'm sorry this happened to you. I would love to take this offline and discuss the issue with you, but never get into a he said, she said in any of your engagement.
So
Always,
avoid the details. So you're acknowledging taking some
yes,
responsibility, and then just maybe, not kind of
I
being
will.
defensive, like,
Mhm.
well, I said this, she said.
Yes. Yes, I've seen it before. For instance, I've seen like posts where somebody has said, "Well, I didn't get this on time, or it was broken, or this person didn't call me back," and then all of a sudden, the person who owns the page is coming in and saying, "Well, not even apologizing, just, well, this is the facts. This is what had happened," and trying to defend themselves
Sure.
versus saying, I apologize that this happened, I acknowledge that this was frustrating to you, I'm going to send you a direct message so we can resolve this offline, period.
Okay.
But don't delete it, and don't let it just sit there and fester.
Gotcha. That's very good. That's a very good tip. What
Mhm.
about, I know with social media, what's your feeling with hashtags? I mean, there's some people use 30 of them, some people use
Yes.
5, some people use 0. Can you kind of give us a little bit of tips on that?
I believe in hashtagging everything and using whatever you can that's completely relevant to the topic that you're talking about.
Okay.
So if you're creating your own brand hashtag, you want that in everything you post, because the only way that you're going to get that hashtag moving is if you're hashtagging it nonstop.
Okay.
To do quick and easy hashtag research, is all you have to do is go to Instagram, type in the hashtag that you're thinking of or the topic that you're thinking of, and you will get lists of hashtags that are relevant to that topic. One thing that you want to stay away from is anything that's under maybe 1,000.
Okay.
So the sweet spot is probably around, where you're really going to get great engagement, is 100,000 plus. That's how you attract new people, is by hashtagging.
So it kind of
Um,
ranks it, which I've noticed on Instagram.
mhm.
So if I put in real estate or buying a
Yes,
home, for example, it'll just give me, as I start writing home, it just gives me a list. Is that what you're referring to?
that's what I'm referring to,
Okay.
and it'll tell you how many times that hashtag has been used. So if you see a hashtag that, oh gosh, it sounds really cool, whatever, but it's got 2 times it's been used, that's not going to help you out. It's kind of pointless to use it. But if it's your hashtag, Janet Ruffolo Real Estate Group, or Ruffalo Real Estate Group, and it's only been used 50 times, that's because you're the only one who's using it, but you want to continue to use it, and you want to continue to get shares so that that hashtag just repeats.
So I do like Ruffalo Team or
Mhm.
Ruffalo Team Life or something like that. And then when I'm using them, it knows I want to use these, and I'll see, over 100. So I
Yes.
would say, for example, if someone finds my hashtag, they click on that hashtag, because a lot of people don't understand this, it'll all of a sudden open up Ruffalo Team Life, and it'll just have every single post
Yes.
that I've had, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook. Is that kind of the background of how that works for a
Yes.
hashtag?
Or people are just searching for topics.
Okay,
And that's how they find things, is through the hashtags.
gotcha. When you said branding, give us some tips on, how to promote your brand, maybe give us a lower level of how to start a brand, and maybe a little bit higher of a tip of, I have a brand, I think I'm everywhere. What would be your couple tips on that?
So I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that branding is a logo, and a logo is about 10% of your brand.
Okay.
The rest of your brand is what people see and the consistency they see. So, for instance, my logo is a Tiffany teal, and I did that on purpose because I wanted it to feel feminine. COLEi means she in Italian, and it's all around, my whole business is based around that. So imagery that I try to use for me and for my brand is light and airy, more feminine. My target customer is females anywhere from 40 to 50 plus. So that's my target audience. And that's who I'm speaking to. So I want to use colors and imagery that is going to attract them and make them stop and look at what most of your brand also comes from your content. So we go back to the voice and tone. You're not going to use heavy industry. I wouldn't be using technical content or jargon in my posts, because that's not part of my brand.
Right.
So however you want an individual to feel about your brand is what your brand should be presenting, and how it should be presenting itself.
Okay. And so for me, you've seen some of my content. What would my brand portray in your opinion?
So yours is what, feminine and masculine, because it's both yours and your husband. But in your case, you have the house in your logo, so everybody knows that what you're about is real estate, right? And you're giving I'm just looking through your page right now.
It's just black,
To
red.
keep tricks, black and red. It goes with Keller Williams,
Yep.
right? Keller Williams is black and red. So, but I honestly, when I look at it as a team of individuals, not Keller Williams, but more or less the Ruffolo team.
Sure.
Because while you're using the colors, you're really not using much more of the branding here.
Right. And then with my hashtags, I think I'm bringing in, I try to use some, like you said, team specific. And then if I'm selling a house in Sturtevant, Wisconsin, I'm going to tag Sturtevant.
Yep.
I'm as a location, and then I'm going to say like Sturtevant Realtor or Racine Realtor or wherever that is, a little bit more specific. And then, so branding mine first, then location, and then I try to do more general, like home buying, buy with us, dream home, some kind of a combination of that to attract, I guess, like you were saying, the most amount of people. I think with my brand, and hopefully it displays that, I just try to make it very simple and elegant, meaning just like I'm not frilly, I'm not super, just kind of very clear, black and white, just kind of simple.
Yes.
Because I have my tagline used to be, we make real estate real easy. Now it's just real estate real easy. Kind of just tweaking that a little bit. Do you believe like that branding should have like people used to say a motto or a
tagline?
Yeah, a tagline. What's your thoughts on that?
If you want an individual to have a takeaway quickly, then yes,
Okay.
you would want to have a tagline. Plus, again, it goes back to being succinct into what you do. So you always want to have you want to make sure that when you look at my logo, people think, or my brand name, it's COLEi.
Yeah.
Nobody even knows how to pronounce it because it's an Italian word, right? But after that, it says online influence.
Yeah.
So for me, that's who I want to attract. I want to attract people who are knowledgeable, to understand what being an online influencer means.
Okay.
Because if they're not, it's probably not going to be advantageous for me to work with that individual, because it's going to take a long time to convince them of what they need.
Okay.
I really want people who understand what that means and know that they have a need for it.
Great. So that would be more of your ideal client, is somebody that kind of not maybe the very beginner,
Right.
or because you have an ideal client, like I have an ideal client. Is
Mhm.
that's fair?
It's fair. Again, it's somebody who understands and knows the need of being an influencer online and the value of digital marketing. I wouldn't want to have to take somebody on to first convince them that they need to be online.
Gotcha.
Hopefully, after this is all over with, most people understand and do realize the value of what it's like to have an online presence, for sure.
What kind of an impact has this stay-at-home order and every virtual world had on your business?
My business is blowing up right now. And again, it's because everyone's trying to, the brick and mortar businesses who have relied on being a brick and mortar business, they're now understanding that they have to have more tricks in their pocket than just being that brick and mortar business.
That's good.
And they are unfortunately being forced to do business online. But in the end, I think this is going to work out very well for a lot of small business who go with the flow and realize that the change is needed and embrace it.
Good.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that has been some fabulous online information. Thank you so much for your time. I'll also tag your website if people want to look around, if that's okay with you. That way they can look at your brand, and if they have any questions or someone wants to get in touch with you, would that be okay?
Yeah, send them over my Facebook page.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Josie, for your time. And as always, I look forward to working with you, and everybody out there, keep doing your virtual stuff, your
Yep,
branding and social media posts, and together we'll get through this. Once again,
absolutely.
Janet Ruffolo, Keller Williams, and you are with Interview the Expert. All right, Josie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.